Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to Drak Reviews, where I take on a game that I was actually very excited for, since this formula doesn't ever seem to have a problem, as I delve into Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And hoo boy, do we have actually a lot to go into, so let's start things off with the story. Now, technically, the story starts in the middle. Yeah, you gotta love a story arc when it tries to do that. But I'm gonna go back to the beginning, because there's a few problems with this premise. So the beginning is basically where Death, yes, Death is an incarnation in the Marvel Universe, it's a character, and Jeddah of the Darkstalkers, the vampire savior, decide to have a conversation. Hey, Death, you're pretty awesome. I know, Jeddah. Thank you very much for pointing that out. You know what? You're awesome too. Why, thank you, Death. I really appreciate that. You know what we should do? What? We should merge our universes, because that way we can just bask in our awesomeness. How do we do that? Well, do you have an insane death robot in your universe? Why, yes, I do, Jeddah. Well, I also have an insane death robot in my universe. Let's have them get together, and just for shits and giggles, we'll give them Infinity Stones. That's literally the premise, as they set Thanos to unite, or to at least have Ultron of the Marvel Universe and Sigma. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the chin. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's so bad. As Sigma and Ultron meet for the first time, turn on Thanos and decide to merge themselves as well as their universe as they become Ultron Sigma. That's just the beginning, people. I'm not saying that Marvel vs. Capcom isn't a stupid premise when you think about it, but this is one of those games that didn't need a story. And you gave it one, and now you're wondering why we're laughing at it? Because it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so yeah, now that they have merged universes, you have new areas for everybody to explore that are unique to the universes, kind of like how Marvel vs. Capcom 2 did it. So in that case, you have places like Valconda, and you have, X-Guard, which is supposed to be a merging of like the city in Mega Man X, as well as Asgard. And it's up to our heroes to save the day, to recollect the Infinity Stones and stop Ultron Sigma. Or maybe die trying. That would work too. Yes, I have no problem saying this. The story is stupid. I gave it no points, because for every time that I felt like, okay, maybe they had a good idea somewhere, they literally just crapped on it as they went through. So at that point, yeah, story is dumb. This is one of those games that doesn't need one, because it's just a merger, for crying out loud. I thought that the developers would have learned after DC and Mortal Kombat came together, which they did. They separated them again. Moving on into the visuals. Oh boy, do I have problems with the visuals in this game. Originally, when we saw some character designs, I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. There are a couple of models that look really, really good. There are a couple that look weird. But now, as we've seen a lot more of these models, I just have to ask this one question. Who in their right cotton-picking mind decided to bring Rob Liefeld to Capcom one day? Jiminy Christmas, people. Captain America was bad. Don't get me wrong. I had issues with it. I like the fact that he looked like he was in the movies, but he still looked like he was Liefeldian. But then we have Black Panther, who looks Liefeldian. Chris Redfield looks Liefeldian now. Pretty much this is a game where and this is actually a game where I had to question how on earth Mega Man X and Zero were moving their feet. Thanks, Liefeld. You have wrecked this game. I'm thoroughly convinced he was brought into the Capcom office to design some of these atrocities that are character models. Dude, even characters that are supposed to be slim, that are supposed to be gangly, like Jeddah, are muscled out to horrible proportions. I swear, I've seen better muscles in a WWE game than I have in this. That's how bad this is. And yes, I did take points off for the visuals, because while there are some good models, there are models that look really good. There are others that just either are Liefeldian at best or make absolutely no sense at worst. I cannot believe I'm saying this. X and Zero look bad in this game. Rocket Raccoon looks bad in this game. Oh, I completely forgot how Liefeldian Doctor Strange looks. Jiminy Christmas. Yeah, visuals, it had some points taken off. Gameplay. How can you mess this up? I have not played a Marvel vs. Capcom game that didn't have at least basic gameplay that anybody can get into. This is something new, and it's horrible. Holy crap, no character plays. Like when you have returning characters like Captain America, Mega Man X, you would at least expect that they would play like they do in previous entries. Nope! They decided to redo the control scheme for every single character, and instead of making things super, super basic like they did with, I don't know, Street Fighter V, or like every other fighting game out there has tried to model that, like Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat X. I could keep going on forever, but you get my point. You decided to make it horribly complex to be able to get anything done, especially with the most basic of characters. Holy crap, man. Captain America in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is easier to operate than he is in Infinite. How on earth do you screw that crap up? Mega Man at least was somewhat complex in the early Marvel vs. Capcom entries, because he didn't make 3. But now, he is the weirdest control scheme I've ever possibly played in a fighting game. Yeah, I took points off for gameplay. I don't even know how you screw this formula up. This is the most basic fighter that Capcom has in their arsenal right now, and they decided to make it hardcore? That's the only justification I have for this. They tried to make it a hardcore game so that it could be it could be based in the tournaments. What, you weren't satisfied with Street Fighter V? No, you had to bring this one into the mix, and it failed horribly. I took points off. You guys can tell I'm a little frustrated with this game. Holy crap. I actually found a game that is a worst. That's what this game basically is. Moving on into audio. Again, we have music that isn't quite so memorable. Even the weird jazz tunes in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is way more memorable than this stuff. I can at least say that the voice cast did a good job. They tried their best. Some of the voices that they actually came up with for, say, Jeddah, who was brand spanking new to this franchise, were good. I like the fact that we had Jennifer Hale coming back and playing Captain Marvel. Laura Bailey still does a good job playing Chun-Li when she gets that opportunity. They even brought back the old Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cast that eventually got brought into Avengers Assemble to play their counterparts, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, et cetera, et cetera. There isn't too much that I can complain about with the voice cast. They did the best with what was given to them, but the music, yeah, it's not memorable, so I did take points off here. Replay value and presentation. Technically, it's a fighting game, so there is replay value. But I would actually argue there isn't, because this game, once you play the first couple of story segments and you understand the control scheme you're walking into, you're not going to want to play this multiplayer. You are not going to want to try this out with your friends or anything like that, because it's going to feel wonky to you. So I actually did take points off for replay value, where it is a fighting game and there is replay value in most fighting games. This one, in my opinion, doesn't have any. Because as soon as you get your hands on that damn control scheme, and let's just say you're a brand spanking new fan, you're going to run away as fast as you can. Moving on into presentation. Does it come together? In case you guys couldn't tell, nope. And that's the weirdest part about this game. It's Marvel versus Capcom. How do you screw this up? This formula has worked for years, and I don't care if you didn't like the third one or you thought it was dumb adding Phoenix Wright in. At least that game is playable. At least that game has a basic enough control scheme for anybody to get behind. And if you say that 3 doesn't have that, 2 does. 2 definitely does compared to this. And at that point, that's where I'm sitting here going, how on earth can you screw this formula up? And it gets even worse, because I forgot to mention this in the gameplay, but you also have the added mechanic of Infinity Stones. Now, this is a cool concept that was brought back from older games before Marvel vs. Capcom was a thing. And it was fine because it was basically these gems gave you added stats. They decided to make them more interactive elements, and that doesn't work either. So yeah, bottom line is, does this come together? Absolutely not. This is the most forgettable entry as far as I'm concerned in this series. And this is why I have no problem giving Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite a 3 out of 10. It is bad. It's not even below average. It's bad. How on earth can you screw this formula up? Well, they found a way, and there's a reason this game ain't going to EVO and got beat out by the one game that actually did its formula better. So yeah, I'm a little pissed off of this 3 out of 10. It's a bad game. Avoid it if you can. But if you're absolutely a fan of the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise and a glutton for punishment like I am, is it worth it? Currently, you can get Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for Xbox One, PlayStation, and PC, and it is available for $29.99, brand spanking new, as well as a season pass that you can get later on that will unlock additional characters like Black Widow, Venom, and the Monster Hunter. So at that point, while there are some good ideas in there, is it worth it at its base price? Hell no. No, 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 no. I don't even think this is worth it used. Avoid this game. Teach Capcom a lesson, people. They didn't learn their lesson from Street Fighter V. I'm actually kind of surprised, since a lot of the team from Street Fighter V apparently helped out with the development of this. I'm surprised that it didn't come out in 10 separate pieces with a story mode that was due out 4 months later. No, this game is not worth it at any price as far as I'm concerned. Avoid this one. Vote with your dollar and say to Capcom, do better next time. And that's going to go ahead and do it for this review of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Thank you guys so much for your love, for your patience, your support, and also your additional patience with dealing with me rant this episode. And of course, I'll be back in time for the next review.